Welcome to SufiVoice.com, the voice of humanity. In today's session, we'll be looking at Plato's theory of forms. Yes, we'll discuss the very famous popular theory of Plato, the theory of forms. So let's get started with this theory. What exactly happens in this theory? So let's try to see Plato's theory in an animated form. Okay, so just now, what you have seen was Plato's theory of forms in an animated version. Let us try to understand the various stages of Plato's theory of forms and what is the underlying message which this theory gives us. As far as I am concerned, the message of Plato's theory can be understood in two versions. The first version of Plato's theory of forms is in a materialistic version, and the second version is to find out the true purpose of our life, the ultimate purpose of our life. In today's session, I'll try to explore and explain the two versions of Plato's theory of forms. So let's get started with Plato's theory of forms. Initially, you will find a cave, okay, with a platform of this kind, okay, and the cave is pitch dark. There is no light in the cave in the first stage, okay. In the second stage, so now you see that a wall has been raised or a wall has been constructed. On one side of the wall, we see the prisoners, and the prisoners are tied up to the wall in such a way that they cannot talk or interact with each other. They just can't see the face of their neighboring prisoner. So they cannot turn their heads, they cannot look into the face of their neighbors. So they had been in this state of imprisonment right from their childhood. And only thing that they can do is to stare this wall before them, okay, which is in this dark cave, right? So in the first stage, we have a altered platform, we have a wall. On one side of the wall, there are prisoners who are tied up in such a way that they cannot talk or they cannot see each other's face. Only thing that they can do is they can gaze or they can look at the wall. Now, further, what they did is fire is added on the raised platform, and we see few people carrying on the others, few people carrying objects in their hands on the other side of the wall. Now, the light is restricted with the wall. Okay, so only images will be formed on the wall which can be noticed by the prisoners. So the prisoners can see only the scary images that are formed on the wall. So they don't know anything about the outside world. So they know only this scary images. And like this, they have spent few years in the cave watching the scary images. And they have made up their mind that the world consists of this scary images. Or in a way, they came to a conclusion that the outside world is not at all beautiful. Why? Because to them, the outside world was this scary images. Okay, so this went long for many years, wherein they came to an understanding that the outside world is not at all good. After a few years, one of the prisoners in the captivity was released. Initially, the prisoner resisted. The prisoner denied to go outside because he had a fear that the outside world was not beautiful. Okay, so because of that fear, he resisted, but with a lot of force, he was taken outside the cave. The outside view of the cave was completely different. The world was very beautiful than what he had seen inside the cave. Inside the cave, to him, the world was very scary. Now it was his first interaction with the outside world, and he realized that whatever he had seen inside the cave was not the reality. The outside world is more colorful, more beautiful. And understanding the outside world, he wanted to share that information with his prisoners, with his companion prisoners with whom he had spent many years. He wanted to share this information. He rushed to the cave once again, and from standing outside from the cave, he shouted to give or to tell them that whatever he had seen inside the cave was not true. The outside world is very beautiful. Though he tried to share the truth with the prisoners who had listened to the voice of uh, the other prisoner who was released from the captivity, from the captivity, they realized his voice, and at the same time, they also thought that the prisoner is undergoing pain because for them the world was not good, and they all decided that we should never step outside of this world because the outside world is more dangerous. Okay, so we can understand this version of Plato's theory of forms in two ways. So I'll try to explain this in terms of materialistic world and in terms of achieving enlightenment. So let us first look at in terms of achieving success in this materialistic world, or to be success in this materialistic world. Okay, so here, if we start once again from the beginning, right? So when we talk in terms of materialistic world, okay, so the cave is the world in which we live. Okay, the cave is the world in which we live, and we had created a barrier. Okay, we had built a wall in our world. Okay, so this wall separates us from the outside world. Okay, so this wall separates us from the outside world. It disconnects us from the outside world. And the prisoner sitting here is our mindset. Okay, people had made up their mind that whatever we have, we should be happy in it. Okay, so something of like to be satisfied with whatever we have, to be concerned with whatever we have. That is good to some extent, but you will find success only when you take one step ahead in life. If you don't move ahead in life, life will be like this prisoners, okay, who had taken life for granted, seeing the images that what is the reality, that is a reality, imagining that that is a reality of life. Okay, so when we move a little further, so there is an okay, so when we move a little further, we see that people are carrying this objects in their hands. And like prisoners, we take life for granted. We start strongly believing that materialistic life is everything. We'll not go beyond this materialistic life. Okay. Like the one prisoner who had shown up the courage to step outside his comfort zone. The moment he has stepped outside his comfort zone, that was not easy for him. Okay, he too had different thoughts in his mind, but still he showed up the courage to step outside of his comfort zone. So comfort zone here can be understood as if crossing this wall and making an courageous effort to go outside. Okay, so when he had shown up the courage to go outside, so what did he find? He had looked how beautiful the world is. He started enjoying success. Okay. So when he started enjoying success, he wanted to share the secret of success with his other companions living, prisoner companions living in uh, the cave. He rushed back to the cave and he wanted to share this with the other prisoners. Now here the prisoners who have been habituated, who are very much accustomed with the life of the cave, they start thinking that, okay, so we are at least happy. So we are not like the other prisoner who is not at all safe now. Okay, so that is one version of life. So unless until you don't show courage, you don't step out of your comfort zone, unless until you don't do anything, okay, there will not be success which you can achieve in this life. Okay, in order to be successful, there should be always a calculated risk. Okay, no pains, no gains. Okay, so we should have the courage to do something in this life. This is one version of Plato's theory of forms. Now the same theory can uh, at the same time, this theory can also be understood, or it can also clearly understand, explain the purpose of our life. Okay, now let us try to explore the purpose of life through this Plato's theory of forms right from the beginning. So we'll start right from the beginning. And okay, so now as you see in this case, uh, again, this cave symbolizes the whole world. Okay, or the cave symbolizes our life. Okay, now we have got a beautiful life to live, but again in this life we ourselves create a wall restricting our needs to that of materialistic world. This part of the cave, or we want to just focus on this wall. This wall may be a symbolism for materialistic things. Okay, we don't want to go beyond this wall because we start thinking that this life is everything. Okay, food, home, shelter. If you have these things in life, our life is complete. We never show up the courage to cross this wall and to seek the truth in this very life, which should be the purpose of everyone's life. Okay, now when we go a little further, so this light which we see here symbolizes the energy. Okay, so with the help of energy, we try to understand the world outside us or the world around us. Again, we are in a misconception, taking the scary images as that of the reality of life. We often misunderstand and we take life for granted, that materialistic things or everything in our life. Okay, so we start living life in such a way that we are going to live forever, which is not the reality. One or the other day we have to die. So before we die, we need to do some good and we need to have some purpose in our life. When we move a little further, so we see that one of these prisoners shows up the courage to go beyond the wall. Okay, so this person who has gone beyond the wall is the truth seeker, is the person who has asked the question to himself, what is the purpose of this life? How can I make my life more meaningful? Means he gets into the journey of exploring himself. Okay, he starts searching for the purpose of life. Means he has shown up the courage to step outside, to cross this wall, and to get into get outside of this cave. Now, when he steps outside, what happens? The moment he steps outside, he realizes the truth. Now he understands the purpose of life. Okay, and to him, life is not as horrible as he had seen in the cave. Now there is a no new meaning to life, and there is a new purpose. There is a new vision in his life now. Now he understands that life is very beautiful, and how he has spent the life in the cave in ignorance. And he doesn't want his other companion prisoners to spend their lives in the darkness. So he once again comes back to the cave and tries to share this information of beautiful world with his uh, prisoner companions with whom he had spent many years. Okay, but again, what happens, since people are habituated making wrong perceptions in their mind that materialistic world is everything, they will not listen to the voice, or they will not listen to the message that is being shared by the person who has realized the truth. Okay, so we should always should not stop at this point of taking the world as materialistic things. We should show up the courage to cross this wall. We should show the courage to go beyond the materialistic world, because that is the purpose of life. Okay, so we are not here to earn as much money as possible. Okay, so one may become a millionaire or one may become a trillionaire. So whatever money he has earned will be only till the point he lives. Okay. So instead of running after the materialistic things, if a person realizes, if a person understands the truth in this very life, okay, so when he has realized what is truth in his very life, then his purpose of life will change. He will try to share that blissful state. He will try to share that happiness with others. And that should be the purpose of everyone's life. Okay. So I hope you liked today's session, and I'm sure that you will not only like this video, but you will also share this video with your near and dear ones. Thank you. Have a good day.